Bolt fam, the energy in Los Angeles just feels different right now. There's heavy change hanging over this offensive line, a veteran name circling in the background, a frustrating decision on offense, and a playoff picture that flipped after Thanksgiving with rivals slipping at the perfect time. You're not going to believe what we've got today, so sit back, hit that like button, and let's dive in. While everyone talks about big dreams and playoff runs, there's one issue that might be the real tipping point between the Chargers making noise in January or collapsing down the stretch. It's not a blockbuster trade, not firing a coordinator, not some dramatic locker room speech. It's much more basic and way scarier, keeping Justin Herbert upright and giving this offense a minimum of stability up front. Right now, every snap feels like a silent SOS coming from this offensive line. Jim Harbaugh is trying to patch a massive leak with duct tape. Injury after injury has gutted this group. The Chargers lost both starting tackles, the backfield's banged up, and what was supposed to be a physical, punishing offense turned into constant emergency adjustment. This week, Jamari Sellier got the starting reps at practice, but Harbaugh admitted nothing is locked in for the game against the Raiders. Several guys are in the mix to start at left tackle, and that kind of uncertainty on Herbert's blind side is exactly what you don't want heading into a season-defining stretch. There are 6 games left that basically decide everything, and left tackle has been a roulette wheel. Bobby Hart, Austin Deculus, Trevor Penning, and Salyer have all taken snaps there. None has delivered the kind of steady, reliable performance that makes a coach say, "That's my guy for the rest of the year." Penning struggled so badly that he ended up benched in the second half of his first start. All of this circles back to something the fan base was already screaming about months ago, the lack of real depth built in the offseason. The big move was Mekhi Becton, and right now he's playing well below expectations, grading as one of the worst guards in the league. Harbaugh looks at his bench and sees very few guys with genuine starting experience to plug into not just one, but 2 critical tackle spots. That's how you end up in November still shuffling bodies at the most important positions on the line. The really scary part is hearing the head coach say he hopes to solidify the line after the Raiders game. How realistic is that when the test comes against a pass rush led by Max Crosby hunting off the edge? If this revolving door continues, it's fair to say the biggest threat to the Chargers' playoff dream might not be a rival in the division. It might be their own inability to find 5 trustworthy linemen in the most important trench on the field. While the edges of the offensive line are pure chaos, there's something that could quietly change everything right in the middle. It's not a Pro Bowler or a jersey-selling superstar, but it's the kind of move smart teams make in survival mode. A veteran presence who can stabilize the interior. Connor McGovern, the experienced center who started for the New York Jets from 2020 to 2023 and is now a free agent waiting for the right call. Tell me, Bolt fam, does that or does that not make a ton of sense right now? What this Chargers offense is missing most up front is simple: stability inside. Herbert is dealing with constant interior pressure, the pocket is collapsing from the middle, and the run game isn't creating the consistent push between the tackles that Harbaugh wants. You can scheme around a weak edge with chips, tight end help, or a back staying in. But you can't run a physical downhill offense if your guards and center are getting walked back into the backfield every other snap. That's where the Connor McGovern profile becomes so intriguing. We're talking specifically about the veteran center, former Jets starter, not the guard playing for Buffalo. He's not an all-pro or a headline grabber, but he's that classic plug-and-play professional. He's seen every front, every stunt, every exotic blitz. He understands leverage, angles, communication, and protection calls. He's the kind of guy who can walk into a new locker room, digest the playbook, and quickly become a stabilizing voice in the middle. On top of that, his versatility is a great fit. McGovern can play center, he can line up at guard, and he gives the coaching staff flexibility to simply put the 5 best linemen on the field. With so much inconsistency and so many injuries, a veteran who can move around inside is worth gold. And you're not talking about a massive, cap-breaking commitment. At this stage of his career, it's a short-term, smart deal to fix a screaming need. For Justin Herbert, that kind of move would be a relief. Quarterbacks love having a veteran interior lineman they can trust, someone who helps with protection IDs, points out disguised pressure, handles the pre-snap communication with the rest of the line. When the ball is snapped, Herbert should be focused on going through progressions, not wondering if the A-gap is about to explode in his face again. A move like this also sends a clear message to the locker room. There are no guaranteed spots here. If you're not playing at the level Harbaugh demands, he'll go get someone who will. With a veteran center like Connor McGovern sitting out there as a free agent and the interior of this line struggling the way it is, what excuse is there for not at least kicking the tires on this option? Bolt fam, would you make that call or not? Let me know in the comments. There's also another situation on this offense that has a lot of people in the Bolt fam flat out frustrated. This one isn't about injuries or a rookie learning the league. This is about pure coaching stubbornness. And the guy paying the price on the field is Justin Herbert, along with the entire passing attack. Because, honestly, it's getting harder and harder to understand why Tyler Conklin still sees the field in meaningful moments. We all know not every signing is going to be a home run. But tight end is not a spot with no options. There are players who've earned a real shot. And yet, Conklin keeps getting snaps that simply don't make sense. Ever since Oronda Gadsden II started carving out a role, the rotation should have been simple. The rookie as a real weapon in the passing game. A more reliable guy as the primary blocker. And Conklin slowly fading out of the picture. That's not what's happening. He still pops up in key situations. And many times he's out there instead of Will Dissly, who is a better blocking tight end and has already shown it when given chances. On a team struggling to protect its quarterback, leaving your best blocking tight end on the sideline while the guy who doesn't deliver as a receiver or as a blocker gets snaps is asking for trouble. And this isn't just a vibe from the fan base. There are specific plays that stick. There was the 4th and short where the ball went through his outstretched hands, bounced off his helmet, and fell incomplete, killing a drive that could have flipped the game's momentum. Add in the weak blocking, and it's hard to justify any patience. At this point, the conversation isn't about upside anymore. It's about accountability. Jim Harbaugh needs to accept that this particular signing hasn't worked out the way they hoped. The tight end rotation has to be adjusted with urgency. Keeping Conklin on the field while Dissly watches from the sideline feels less like a football decision and more like an off-season investment. The staff is too proud to admit didn't pan out. In November and December, pride doesn't win games. Cold, honest decisions do. As we ask for more courage in these offensive decisions, there's another massive piece of the puzzle we can't ignore. The schedule just opened up a very real lane for the Chargers, and it cranked the energy up even more after the bye week and Thanksgiving. While Herbert, Harbaugh, and the rest of the team were getting a little rest, 2 results on Turkey Day poured gasoline on the playoff dream in Los Angeles. The Chiefs slipped again and dropped to 6-6. The Ravens also stumbled and fell to 6-6. Just like that, the AFC race took on a completely different shape. In the AFC West, the Broncos sit on top at 9-2. The Chargers are right behind at 7-4. The Chiefs are 6-6, and the Raiders are basically out of the picture. It's not an easy path, but it's absolutely real. Even more, because the final stretch includes all 3 divisional matchups. Broncos, Chiefs, and Raiders are all still on the schedule. Los Angeles doesn't need some crazy list of unlikely scenarios. They can go out there, handle business in their own division, and either push hard for the AFC West title or, at the very least, lock themselves in as a dangerous wild card. Zooming out to the AFC as a whole, the conference is jammed with teams fighting for those last spots. The Chargers sit right at the pivot point. A team with a winning record, a tough schedule, and a bunch of head-to-head chances that can flip the entire picture. If they take advantage of this stretch, especially against AFC opponents, we're not just talking about sneaking into the playoffs. We're talking about rolling into January with momentum and swagger at exactly the right time. But none of this means anything if they stumble against the Raiders right out of the gate. This post-bye game is almost a psychological exam. It's the moment where the team has to show it learned from those brutal losses and that it's ready to turn opportunity into wins. The schedule cracked the door open. Now it's on this lightning bolt from Los Angeles to kick that door down with authority. That's where you come in, Bolt fam. When this team comes out of the bye and steps back onto the field at SoFi Stadium, every third down stop on defense, every big-time throw from Herbert, every clean pocket created by that offensive line needs to feel like a message to the entire league. The Chargers are not giving this season away. If they can line up better execution on the field with this window the AFC just handed them, nobody is going to be excited about seeing this team across from them in a January playoff game. Bolt fam, after all of this, it's clear this Chargers season is going to be decided with grit, toughness, and smart decisions. An offensive line under siege, a veteran center sitting out there as a free agent, a tough call to make at tight end, and a schedule that suddenly opened a rare opportunity. Tell me in the comments, do you still believe in this run? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ride with us through every step of this final stretch. If this lightning bolt finally clicks at the right time, nobody's going to stop it.